رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ربنا زدنا علما أجمعين وعلمنا الكتاب آمين. So we're just going to dive right into the book. We have to do chapter 16 and yeah. Actually, so go to the English lesson key in the back for 16. So this is on page 46 in the back of the list of the book. Who wants to read? Brother Anwar, do you want to read? Oh, you don't. Oh, you have the other book. Brother Afnan, how about you?
Arabic nouns are classified as.
In this lesson, we learn number one.
In this lesson, we'll learn the following. Number one, in Arabic nouns are classified as rational and irrational. They are also called intelligent and unintelligent. Rational nouns are those that refer to human beings, angels, devils, and such beings are also included in this class. Irrational nouns refer to things, animals, and concepts.
Okay. So what is it? What it's basically saying is that you have your nouns, right? Which are called what in Arabic? Ism, right? Ism. Right. So they said that a noun is classified into it can be one of two things. Okay. So you have something which is rational, and they'll write it later down as aql. Aqilun. Okay. Aqilun means like it possesses intellect. Aql, right? Your aql. So aql is your brain, right? So if it possesses reasoning or intellect, it's called aqil. So it's rational. And then there's irrational without aql. So we call that in Arabic غير عقل. غير عقل. غير عقل means it does not have intellect. So it says the things that are included in rational are what? Humans, jinn, angels. What about animals? Yes? No, they're not included in this. So in this one, animals would be the غير عقل. So you would not refer to them as possessing intellect. What about objects? عقل or غير عقل? غير عقل, right? Objects are غير عقل. What about stuff like that you see, like geography-wise, mountains and oceans and things like that? غير عقل, right? So places are, and the same thing with cities, right? City or things like that, غير عقل, places. And it's obvious, right? So only these three categories are rational, aql, and then the rest of them are just غير عقل. Okay. So, all right. We're reading the back from the back of lesson 16. Brother Afnan, keep going.
In the singular, there is no difference between these two groups. In plural, however, there is a very important difference. Plurals of rational nouns are treated as plural, so plural words like they, these, those are used to refer to them. Plurals of هو صغير.
Mm-hmm.
And the plural of this هذه كتب جديد. هي صغيرة.
Okay. So let me write this real quick. هؤلاء طلاب. Okay. So the first example they give is for aql, right? So these are rational. So if I'm talking about a student, is it aql or ghair aql? Aql, right? So it possesses intellect. So what it's saying is that when I'm using the first sentence, what does it say? هذا طالب جديد. What does that mean? This is a new student. هو صغير means he is small, right? He is young. Okay. Now, if I want to make this sentence plural, what do I have to change هذا to? هؤلاء, right? So هذا becomes هؤلاء, and طالب becomes طلاب, okay? And جديد becomes جدد, and هو becomes home, right? Because you're talking about more than one. And then صغير, the way you make it plural is صغار, okay? Um, so, but I'm going to circle هؤلاء and home, okay? So in this one, how many words did we change going to plural? All of them, right? So, but I just want you to focus on هؤلاء and home, okay? Um, can I erase this?
Yes.
And brother, can I read the example for غير عقل again?
Irrational غير عقل. Singular is هذا كتاب جديد. هو صغير. And the plural of this is هذه كتب جديد. هي صغيرة.
Okay. هو صغير and هذه yeah. Okay. So, what is هذا كتاب? Oh, sorry, I forgot جديد. هذا كتاب جديد. What does that mean? This is a new book, right? So, is kitab aql or غير aql? غير aql, right? It's an object. Okay, so just keep in mind the contrast between kitab and talib. One is aql and the other is غير aql. Okay. Now, if I'm describing the book and I say huwa saghirun, what does that mean? It is small, right? We said huwa can refer to it or he, right? So in this case, it's because it's an object, you say it, and then saghirun, small. It is small. Okay. So now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go. This was singular, and we went to plural. And this is singular, and now we're gonna go to plural. Okay. So what happens when you when you go from hada kitabun to plural? You say hadihi. You say hadihi, right? So this changes, but instead of becoming for plural, you use the feminine singular one. Okay. So the rule is, okay. I'm going to say the rule, and I might change it. So just try to see if you can write it down. But if not, then try to. Actually, let me read it. Let me read it exactly how they say it. Okay. So they say plurals of irrational nouns, which is what in Arabic? غير عاقل, right? So things like kitab, kursi, qalam, all of these, so plurals of these irrational nouns that we just wrote are treated as feminine singular. Okay? So هذه, right? When did we use هذه? To say what? If I want to say this is a car, you say هذه سيارة, right? So you use that for when something is feminine and it's only one, right? So it says are treated. Does that mean they are feminine and singular? Is kitab feminine? No. Is it? Are you gonna be saying is it singular? No, right? So basically, when they're saying are treated as feminine singular, it just means that things are referred to it. Okay? So instead of هؤلاء كتب, I'm gonna say هذه.
But kutubun is plural. We have to do
It
that.
still changes, right? So I said, okay, so kitabun becomes kutubun, jadidun becomes jadida. We're gonna come back to jadida. Huwa becomes hiya, and saghirun becomes saghiratun. So all of these still change, but I said keep your circle haula'i and hum, and hadihi and hiya. Okay, so this is where the rule is playing out. So the rest of them, kitabun, the plural is kutubun. Okay, and it comes up in jadidatun too. Okay, but first thing you need to understand is that the plural of the irrational noun is treated as a feminine singular. Okay, so that's why you use hadihi.
Is there understandable? Like, is there a reason why that's done, or is it just something?
It's just been the way it is in Arabic. So when you're referring to stuff, right? So remember we wrote down all of the ismu shara, right? So what's for if I want to say this is a chair, what do I say? Hada, right? And then if I want to, so this is masculine, and then what's if I want to say this is a car? Hadi, right? Hadi. And then how do I say that? Dhalika, for something that's far away. Dhalika. And then for something that's far away from feminine, tilka, right? Tilka. So all of these are just for one thing. Okay, this is all singular. And when I go to plural, what becomes the plural of هذا and ذلك? No, sorry. هذا and هذه. Yeah. So if I'm talking about these things, so the plural of هذا and هذه becomes هؤلاء. I'll just write it like this. Sorry, what? Okay. هؤلاء. Oh, like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have هؤلاء if you're talking about things that are plural, right? And then if I'm talking about those things, more than one, I'm going to say ذلك.
This is a flock, right?
So you have هذا and هذه. When they become plural, you say هؤلاء. And you have ذلك and تلك. When they become plural, you say أولئك. Okay? But this is when you're talking about aql things, generally. Okay? There are exceptions. So if I want to say أولئك طلاب, those are students, right? Can I say those are books? No, right? I have to use هذه. So I have to treat every single non-aql thing as feminine singular.
And it's almost like referring to close to that. Or is there another word for it? Does it do the same thing for tilka? Like it's far away.
It is, you use tilka, yeah. Right, so you use هذه and tilka. We'll get to tilka too. Okay, but going back to this, okay. So now you're saying something is, you're instead of saying this is a new book, now you want to say these are new books. So we said هذا becomes هذه because of this rule. Okay, كتاب becomes كتب, right? So كتب doesn't change. But the word that does change is جديد, right? So in here, when you wanted to say something was plural, what did you say? What did you change جديد to? جدد, right? So جدد was describing what? The students, right? So the جدد was going towards students, okay? In this case, the جديد, the new is referring to what? Kitabun, right? So kitabun is غير عقل. It's treated as a feminine singular. So instead of jududun, you're going to say jadidatun. Okay? Jadidatun.
So how would you translate it? Would this still be?
You're still going to translate it. You're going to understand it as a plural, but it's going to be spoken and written as a feminine singular. No. It's treated as a feminine singular. Even though it's plural, it's just kind of hard to wrap your mind around. It's plural, but it's treated as feminine singular.
Like we don't have enough.
I know, right? But it's in the Quran, and when you see it, it'll make sense. Like, okay, yeah, this is talking about this thing. Actually, I was trying to think of some examples before the class, but I'll think of some, inshallah, by Friday. And they're interesting. Oh, I just remembered. Well, I'll erase this top part. Okay, so Allah says, okay, what's ayah? I mean, what does ayah mean? Ayah means verse, right? Ayatun. Okay, so ayatun is a verse, and is it? It's a noun. Is it aql or غير aql? غير aql, right? Doesn't. It's not an animal. I'm sorry. It's not a human, a jinn, or a malik. So it's غير aql, and what's the plural? Ayatun. So, in one of the surahs it says, Tilka ayatullah. These are, or those are, the ayat of Allah. So it says, Tilka ayatullah. Okay. So, you use so you're talking about, these are the ayat. Ayat is a غير عقل thing. So the way you refer to it, you treat it as a feminine singular. So the way you so you have these and those, right? Or sorry, yeah, this and that. Sorry, this and that. So you're gonna say that or those are the ayat of Allah. And the same way, so Brother Najmul, like you were saying, when you translate this, you're gonna say these are new books. These are new books. Okay? We're talking about it, it's plural, but you just write it and you speak it as if it's feminine singular. Okay?
So based on the context of an ayah, we have to figure it out if it's plural or singular.
No, you know so you'll know ayat is plural because it's the plural of ayah. So actually, the lesson, when we read the lesson, we're going to go through all of the plurals. Okay, so finish this off. Hiya saghiratun. So instead of, so book is, you said masculine, right? When it becomes plural, it's treated as feminine singular. So you say, it is small. Whatever you're referring to, the book, and then what you're describing about it. So instead of sigharun like here, you're going to say saghiratun.
Why won't you make here as plural?
It's treated as feminine singular. If it's a غير عقل noun, that's plural.
Also those two
it will. So just that's why I circle the. You can just circle it in your key.
But when translating, it should still be plural though.
It's still gonna be plural. So you're gonna say, what are you gonna say? They are small.
They are small.
They are small. You're not gonna say it is small. They are small. All right, let's go to the lesson. Dialogue 16. We are on page 92. Okay. All right, الدرس السادس عشر. Lesson 16. Brother Nazmul, do you want to read the? It's a small lesson. There's small dialogue. Okay, so go ahead and read.
Let me open this. Why did you start?
Brother Uthman, how about you?
لمن هذا الأقلام
You're not saying هذا, you're saying هذه.
أو لمن هذه الأقلام
Mhm.
يا محمد
لمن هذه الأقلام يا محمد? What does that mean?
أقلام
What's لمن? Whose هذه الأقلام? What's أقلام? Plural of qalam, right? So you see the qaf, lam, mim, and so the plural is on the af'al pattern. Af'alun, so aqlamun.
So whose pen are these Ya Muhammad, right?
Yeah, to whom are these pens, or whose pens are these, right? So what do you see? هذه. Why? Because you're talking about غير عقل, right? You're talking about pens, which is not عقل. So you're going to say هذه. لمن هذه الأقلام يا محمد. Okay? Brother, not too much.
Muhammad. Here the Ya Ustad.
يا أستاذ. هي لي يا أستاذ. What does that mean?
It belongs to the teacher.
What's li? Mine, right? So you conjugate not conjugate, but you use li with the pronoun. So the ya mutakallim means mine. So hiya li, right? So why is it hiya? Because you're talking about pens, right? So you're talking right after, so they're pens. So there you're going to say, how would you translate it?
It is mine.
They are mine. They are mine. So you're talking about more than one pen, right? So it's they. Okay, Brother Yusuf. جديدة. Okay, so here جميلة جدا. What does that mean? They are very beautiful. So again, every single line that we've read, using هذه, here, and here. So using feminine singular to refer to something that's غير عقل and it's plural. So هي جميلة جدا means they are very beautiful. And what's وهذه الكتب الجديدة هي لك? So these new books هي لك. So are do they belong to you? لك, right? Actually, let's. Can someone review all of the ones for la with the pronouns attached? So the first one is lahu, and then lahuma. Keep going. Lahum, laha, lahuma, lahunna, laka, lakuma, lakum, laki, lakuma, lakunna, li, lana. Okay. So all of those we're gonna review that. We're gonna bring those up. So keep up to those. So laka means for you or belongs to you, right? So do they belong to you, Brother Ala? Next one.
Muhammad, لا هي لحامل.
هي لي حامل.
No, it is for
They are for.
No, They are for Hamid.
They are for Hamid or they belong to Hamid?
They belong.
Okay. Next one we'll call. Ikhwan. Okay, I don't think we did the fatir. So what's daftar, right? So what's daftar? Notebook. So the plural of daftarun is the fatir. The fatir. So what does aina the fatirukum mean? The fatirukum. Your notebooks, ya ikhwan. What's ya ikhwan? Oh, brothers, right? Brother Anwar. Next one.
هي هنا
Mhm.
على هذا المكتب.
Okay, what does that mean?
They are
Huna. Here.
here.
They are here.
They are here.
عليكم السلام. على هذا المكتب.
They are here
What's على?
on
On هذا
هذا
this المكتب
المكتب.
on this desk. So they are here on this desk. Okay. So again, every single line in that one you used here or هذه. Okay. تأمل الأمثلة الآتية. Okay, let's take a break and then we'll finish the rest of it, inshallah.
هذا طالب جديد. هذا طالب جديد. هو
Yeah.
They were just trying to say.
No, go ahead. 88, what assignment? Okay. أعمال, right? أعمال, yeah, it's the plural of عمل.
Belgium, right?
Plural is أعمال. What were you saying?
Where is it? He's asking this one.
This one, what's أعمال?
Okay. What I'm asking, what is this means?
تأمل الأمثلة. تأمل means ponder the following examples. So this is just what we read in the lesson. هذا طالب جديد هو. Oh, actually, no, this is a little bit different. So this is an instrument. So it just says read it and ponder.
Oh, yeah, Michael something. Yeah, that guy. I think if that's the guy, he was a Shakespearean like scholar, and he wrote this. I think that's what. I think that's Ludwig. Yeah, we have to do a concealed method. They say that book is really good in order to like English translations are like good.
I
But
started reading it. It's very decent because it started with pre-Muhammad
Yeah, yeah,
era, but includes advanced social and
No, they
military
always start off with like there's two types of class Arabs and the pure Arabs. Basically, all Quraysh, everybody's Arabized Arabs because Ismail wasn't on the side. But then even that, even after that, like Islam spread and went to like Syria, Damascus, all these people who lived there, they weren't Arabs, but they became Arabs as well. So, but that's after.
All right, let's come back. We'll. I want to get to the second exercise, but we'll quickly go over the first one. It's basically the same thing that we read in the back of the lesson. So it says ponder the following examples. Al-mufrad means what? So they have al-mufrad and al-jam'. Mufrad is singular. Fard, right? Yeah, mufrad. Actually, it's mufrad. Yeah, mufrad is singular. Al-jam' is plural. So those are just grammatical terms that you might come across. Okay? Huh? Jama, al-jama, yeah. Mufrad is singular. So we wrote singular and plural. In Arabic, they're mufrad and jama. Okay? So the mufrad one, the first example, هذا طالب جديد means this is a new student. هو من بلجيكا. He is from Belgium, right? So طالب is it عقل or غير عقل? Aql, right? It's human. So when you make it plural, you're gonna say هؤلاء. هؤلاء, right? You're gonna say these are طلاب جدد, new students. هم من بلجيكا.
I have America.
You have America, okay.
You paid more money for your book.
I guess we know where that one was published. Okay, so the next one, you would be surprised how many places this book has like is studied. Like subhanallah, like anywhere in Europe you go, like you would probably find this book. Anywhere actually around the world, you would go and find this book. Okay, so the next one, now you're saying هذا كتاب جديد, which means this is a new book. So now you're talking about kitab, like we said, it's غير عقل, right? It doesn't have intellect. هو من بلجيكا, it is from Belgium. Okay, now when you make it jamar, when you make it plural, you're gonna, instead of هؤلاء, you're gonna say هذه كتب, and then جديد in جدد is that gonna be جديدة. جديدة. Okay? And then هي من بلجيكا, they are from Belgium. Okay? All right, so this is the actual lesson. There's all you have to do is just read the plural, and then there's going to be lots and lots of plurals. Okay, so it says حول المبتدا في كل من الجمل الآتية إلى الجمع. Change the subject in each of the following sentences to plural. Okay, مثال, the example is هذا بيت, and بيت is obviously غير عقل, right? So you're going to say هذه بيوت. Just change the subject to, or not the subject, or the word to plural, and then change it to هذه. Okay. I think all of them are in this list are غير عقل. Yeah, they're all either animals or objects. Okay. All right. So number one, brother Afnan. Yeah. Good, right? هذا نجم means this is a star, so make it plural. هذه نجوم. These are stars. هذه نجوم. So what pattern is نجوم on?
It's a very common pattern.
Thank you. فعول. So just change that. I'm gonna be asking that because there's other words that'll be on that same pattern. Okay. Like the next one is on the same pattern of فعول. Brother, sitting read. هذا درس means this is a lesson. Okay, make it plural. هذه دروس, right? What does that mean? lessons. And durusun is on the same pattern of nujumun, which is from the base pattern of fu'ulun. So the reason I'm saying that is because when you're reading and you come across a word that you don't know, then if you've heard the pattern before, like fu'ulun, so then you might be able to figure out, okay, this is a plural, and then that'll get you somewhere. Okay? Brother Anwar third.
هذا كلام.
هذا قلم.
Kalama. This is a pen.
Okay, make it plural.
هذه القلم.
أقلام.
القلم.
Okay, what does that mean?
That means these are pens.
These are pens. So aqlamun is on the pattern of af'al. So these are all the patterns which were in lesson 13, I think.
It's on page 34. There are some examples.
Yeah. So just look at where all the patterns were in the lesson, page 34. So that's where they're all coming from. But the other important thing is that these are all hadihi, right? Hadihi nujumun, hadihi durusun, hadihi aqlamun, because they're all ghair aql. They're all treated as female singular. You always say hadihi. Okay. Number 4, Saudia. Which means this is a door. Make it plural. هذه أبواب. So these are doors. Okay. So Tahra next.
هذا جبال. This is the
Number 5. Sorry.
oh, okay. هذا النهر.
نهر.
نهر.
What's نهر?
نهر, I think the
River.
river, yeah.
Okay, make it plural.
هذه أنهار.
هذه أنهار. Right? أفعال.
These
These are جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار. Right? Especially next one. هذا جبل, which means
stone.
no. Jabal is
Oh,
mountain.
mountain.
Right? Jabal.
This is mountain.
Okay, make it plural.
هذه جبال.
هذه جبال. Part of the homework will be to write these down. So you keep writing هذه, it'll stick. Okay? Because these are all right after. Brother Osman, next one.
هذا كلب.
هذا كلب means
This is a dog.
okay, make it plural.
هذه كلاب.
هذه كلاب, right? Which means
These are dogs.
dog, right? And animals we said are not عقل, right? They're غير عقل. So you're going to say هذه. Brother Najm, next one.
هذا بحر.
هذا بحر means
This is spring.
what's بحر? The sea, right? Or the ocean. This is a sea or ocean.
هذه بحار.
هذه بحار.
These are ocean.
These are oceans. بحار is on the pattern of
إفعال.
فعال.
فعال.
فعال. بحار فعال. Brother Yusuf.
هذا كتاب. This is a book. هذه كتب. These are books.
These are books, right? كتب is on what pattern? فعل. فعل كتب. Brother Ala, next one.
هذا حمار.
What does that mean?
This is a donkey.
Okay.
هذه حمر.
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 These are
donkeys.
right, same pattern as
Four.
فعل, right? Just like كتب حمر. Next one, Brother Paul.
هذه شرير.
It's not هذه.
هذا شرير.
Okay.
Then هذه سرور.
هذه سرور. So these are
Beds.
beds, right? سرير, the plural is سرور. Brother Afnan.
هذا دفتر. This is a notebook.
This is a notebook.
هذه دفاتير.
دفاتر.
دفاتير. These are notebooks.
These are notebooks. Okay. Brother Salim.
هذا مكتب.
Okay.
This is school.
This is a desk. Make it plural.
هذه مكاتب.
هذه مكاتب. So these are desks or offices. And مكاتب is on what pattern? مفاعل. مفاعل. Okay. Next one, Sir Odia.
Which one? 15?
14.
Okay. هذا فندق.
What is that? What's funduk?
Hotel.
Hotel, right? هذا فندق, so make it plural.
هذه
فنادق.
فنادق.
هذه فنادق. And we, sorry?
So what is that?
Hotel.
There was something else, restaurant yesterday.
What's restaurant? مطعم. So it's good to know if you're touring, you know. How do you say where's the restaurant? أين مطعم? Where's the hotel?
أين فندق؟
Brother Anwar, we skipped to number 15.
Okay. هذه شيعة.
ساعة.
ساعة.
Okay, so now you're talking about something that's masculine or feminine? Feminine. So is it عقل or غير عقل? So what is, when you're making it plural, what rule are you going to follow?
So this should be the same. هذه.
You're going to say هذه, right?
Yes.
Because you're still talking about a
غير
غير عقل thing. So the rule is if something is غير عقل, making it plural, treat it as feminine singular. Even if that thing is, even if it's masculine or feminine, it doesn't matter. So you're going to say هذه
هذه شيعة.
ساعات.
ساعات.
هذه ساعات means
These are the watches.
these are watches. Okay. So the homework is write all of these down because you're going to get practice on that. And then it goes on to the next page, but we're going to stop here. And then also do exercise 3 as well.
What is طائرة?
طائرة on the next page, number 17, is هذه طائرة is a plane. Yeah, طائرة, plane, right?
What do we have to do in number 3?
So it says basically put هذا, هذه, or هؤلاء. We're gonna do this on Friday, but we're gonna let Brother Mahim we're gonna have Brother Mahim speak for a little bit for the last 5 minutes of class.
We have homework.
These two are homework.
So 2 and 3 are homework?
Yes. So write 2. We already did more than half of it, and then